Hey, welcome to the Orbital Drop. Thanks for dropping in. Matt, we are still months away from this fall and the release of Halo Flashpoint, but we did get some morsels of information on the Mantic website. They released the 5 game modes that are going to be featured in the game, at least at the release. So I thought we would get in here and chat about them real quick.
Yeah, it's like manna from heaven. Some info, trying to come up with, speculate wildly. So I'm excited.
Glean from the universe and the internet what we can. So yeah, let's just go through these real quick. So the first one is your standard Slayer deathmatch, and this is probably what you demoed at Adepticon. It's just who can rack up the most kills. Now this game is pulling from their Dead Zone game, running on the same engine. So, but a big difference for this Halo Flashpoint version is that you have the ability to respawn, right?
Yeah, that's my understanding. And I guess big preface for this entire video: we are not Dead Zone experts. So if we just blow some kind of Dead Zone comp that we're trying to make, sorry.
Yes. We're here to speculate wildly about the fun things that could happen. So,
but yeah, my understanding is no respawn mechanic in Dead Zone. So I don't think there might be some kind of just pure kill objective, but I think it would definitely play differently with Flashpoint with the respawn. And yeah, that's what we did at Adepticon. It was just, kill each other, get a point, respawn. You talked about, set kill limit to that. So, I mean, you could change that. You could, potentially.
I'm wondering if you could just throw a couple maps together and play with 4 people or do 2v2 and just set up some team death matches that way.
Yeah. No, that sounds fun to me. I don't know how much doubling the map size affects like weapon range balance and all that, but just for fun, it sounds fun,
Mm-hmm.
Just more people, just throw them together kind of deal. So, and I could see definitely if the base game is supposed to be 4v4, or at least at launch, I could see, splitting up into 4 teams of 2 and, playing that way. That sounds fun to me.
Yeah. I like the idea of being like one-on-one competitive, but maybe finding ways to stretch these objectives to make it more of a party game or board game if you got more friends over.
Yeah.
So the next one, Oddball. So in Halo, that's where you are trying to hold a skull for a certain time limit. So I'm imagining in Flashpoint, you're not whipping out a chess clock to see how long you can hold it. So rounds, maybe?
My understanding, and this, this is all subject to change, is that you have to possess the ball through your opponent's turn. So, like, if it's my turn, I pick up the ball, they have a chance to come, kill me, take the ball. But if at the end of their activation, if I still have the ball, then I think I get a point. I think that's my understanding.
Okay.
So,
yeah. That's interesting. And I wonder if you'll be able to go off the map or if there'll be some kind of positional reset of the skull, like in the game, video game.
Pass the ball?
Yeah.
Does the ball have stats? Because the ball is a pretty good melee weapon in the game.
Oh, yeah, true.
So does the ball have stats? Does the ball affect movement? Because,
typically it slows you down.
Yeah.
So I think so.
I'm interested to see how it translates. Like all these, I'm interested to see how they translate from the video game to the board game or the miniature game.
So another one that's similar to grabbing things is capture the flag. So in Halo, you're grabbing the flag and you're trying to return it to your base. And typically your flag needs to be at your base to score. I don't know if it would be way more difficult in Flashpoint to do that, but I think that sounds more interesting that you would still need your flag back at your base to score.
Mm-hmm. It sounds hard.
The flag needs to be a good melee weapon as well.
And that sounds hard to be able to hold your flag and go get the opponent's flag and bring it back to your. That sounds. if that's the way it works, I couldn't imagine it being more than like capture it once to win the game kind of.
True. I mean, the map's not huge, so it is possible.
Mhm.
I don't know, like, if you did want to throw multiple maps together, how viable it would be to do this
Mhm.
game mode if it works like that, unless you want to like throw in some man cannons of your own design or something on the map. But honestly, that capture the flag is kind of one of the more intriguing ones out of the 5 for me on this. But
It does sound pretty strategic, but you've got me thinking about man cannons and Halo Flashpoint now. That just entered my brain, so I'm kind of.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That sounds awesome.
Teleporters too.
Ooh.
So we also got strongholds, and strongholds is a 3-zone control. So I'm not sure how big the zones will be. Probably a single box. We were looking at some Dead Zone rules, and they had a game mode in there called Patrol that seemed like it would be able to pull from that. And it looks like it's about having more models inside of a zone than the other opponent. I guess at the end of a round to score victory points off of.
Yeah, no, it does seem like Patrol and Dead Zone. My understanding from that is that Patrol, I think you have to be the only person in the square, but I know in Halo it would just be like you just had to outweigh the person in the square, and then it would like go to your team, and then you could flip it back. So maybe there might be some difference there. I don't know, but it does sound similar, and I think in a way is good for them as far as like a game development is to have like kind of have some idea of how this objective works, how it plays. So
yeah,
I'm kind of excited about that because it's a control holding area. So yeah, no,
right.
that seems really cool.
And then the last one they had here was Stockpile, and we were looking, and it was similar to a mode called Scour. And so that one you're grabbing in Halo, you're grabbing power cores, bringing it back to your base, planting them, and I believe after you plant it, you can still go and steal them. I don't know if that will be the case for this. That might seem a little more to capture the flaggy.
Yeah.
But and also I think it's multiple rounds in Halo. I don't know how viable, or I don't know how fun that would be for Flashpoint. If you're doing that 3 rounds in a row, the map's only so big as well to drop these power cores on. But
yeah, no, I think keeping it quick would probably speak to not having multiple rounds of the same thing. It might be like there's so many points on the map, so and so gets whatever. Maybe there's some kind of scoring or not scoring for kills. I don't know. I know that's how Dead Zone works in a lot of objectives is there's VPs awarded, but again, respawn mechanic. So I don't know if that's something they'll do in Halo. So it might just be, grab the objective.
yeah.
However many points are out there kind of thing.
All right. Well, so those are the 5, but we did go through and we're like, well, Halo's got some more other game modes out there. We were thinking, what would we like to see and how could we go about this? And the first one, I don't know about you, Matt, but I remember Halo 2 days playing Zombies and Infect. And I think that would be super fun. And you could do that with like 4 or 8 people, even just like give everyone a Spartan mini. I think you had brought up like the zombie could just use the Chief's stats maybe. And
Yeah,
we
the
were
alpha
talking
zombie for sure.
Yeah, and maybe the players get a command dice, and then as the players get thinned out, they would get the turned players command dice. That way, they can handle all these getting overrun.
Yeah, there's some kind of action economy there to work out, but just I feel like a lot of my core memories involving Halo are mostly like LAN with friends playing random modes, and zombies is definitely up at the top of that list of those modes. So I'd love to see something like that in the game.
Yeah. And speaking of random modes, I feel like I've played this one way more in Infinite than I did back in the day, but Fiesta or gun game modes where you're either just spawning in with random power weapons versus grabbing them off the map or having to go get a kill through the gamut of weapons, I think could be really interesting and fun, especially with the different loadouts. Because you might grab a dead eye, so like certain ranks of weapons will be a lot easier for you to get through, but then you'll get to the melee weapons and then have a bit of a disadvantage. So I think that could be a cool dynamic with the class-based Spartans.
And if you're worried about time, you have those power weapon cards, maybe, shuffle it up, draw 5, first person to get through,
Oh yeah,
wins.
yeah.
So stuff like that. I mean, there's a lot of room. I'm excited for the potential, even if this somehow doesn't get into the game at some point of, just coming up with that on our own. I think we've got probably a lot of people that are creative and could come up with some kind of mode like that.
For sure. Yeah. And then we were talking about King of the Hill, Crazy Hill, which, and maybe this is just going to be too close to Strongholds, that it doesn't really make sense to have it as a whole separate thing. But, it's just a singular point. So I don't know if that one is as interesting, but maybe Crazy Hill, where the singular point is moving around the map, might keep it more balanced and a little more frantic.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Like, middle hill, somebody caps it, next round, roll a dice and then have nodes on the map. Hill's there now, fight over that. It'd just be, maybe not, it'd be a little variance with the dice, but maybe that's just a little fun mode.
For sure. And then, so I don't think I played a ton of Juggernaut. Did you play a lot of Juggernaut mode?
A little bit, probably not toward the top, but yeah. I think we all have a concept of what a Juggernaut mode might look like.
Now I can't remember in Halo if this like was a post Call of Duty thing, because I know Juggernaut was like a perk you'd unlock from Call of Duty. But the idea is just one player gets kind of OP, and then the rest of the players are just turned against them, and you're racking up points when you're the Juggernaut essentially. So again, one player could be the chief kind of thing. But that's definitely a 4-player more mode. But I think it'd be cool. All of these, I think I want to try.
And you could rotate through. You could all take turns. Play however many 4 little short games, and then whoever scored the most as the Juggernaut wins or something. It'd just be a lot of ways you could do it.
And then back to more deathmatchy type stuff. There's VIP. I guess you just randomly roll one of your Spartans. They're going to be worth more victory points for killing them off. So kind of creates a new dynamic where you're having to protect one versus playing just how you might normally. And then we were also talking about elimination, and that's where it's a limited life respawn. So I don't know how that's going to work because we haven't played it enough. Like, I don't know how fast you burn through lives yet.
And there'd have to be some way to differentiate that from Slayer. I know you're counting down instead of counting up, but some kind of set. And then I think there'd be the element, if it's tight enough, then you get down to like smaller units, maybe matchups between individual Spartan units at the end, which one, wins a 1v1 depending on where they are at the map, all that kind of stuff. So but just another way to play.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't wait to dig into it once it comes out and just figure out all the modes and what we can brew in there. And I bet I wouldn't be surprised if Mantic releases more digitally as things go on.
It would just seem so easy to me to just throw 8 Spartans, pairs of 2, throw them on a board, set it up at a game store, and then, anybody that wants to play, try to rope them in. That just seems like a very good way to do it. Get a lot of people playing. You're limiting the decision making they'd have to make, and then just kind of getting them to learn the system. And I think you can teach people this pretty quick. I think unless they change a bunch of stuff, just the movement, like the 3 dice core, all that stuff is really intuitive and quick, and so I think I think that has the potential to be a pretty big game because I think it's going to be easy to get people into it, and it's a fun IP. And I mean, the game itself was quick, so I think there's a lot of potential there, even with people that aren't miniature gamers.
Yeah. Well, cool. Well, you tell us, did we miss any game modes? Comment, let us know. Tell us what you're excited about. And hopefully we'll get some more news soon. And until next time, we'll see you on the next drop.